The ancient Stoics, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, offered a revolutionary framework for personal development that remains powerfully relevant today. Their central insight was that we cannot control external events, only our responses to them. True peace and fulfillment, they argued, comes not from changing the world around us, but from mastering ourselves. This script explores the Stoic path to self-mastery, built around a profound paradox. When we focus intently on ourselves, our judgments, character, and actions, we eventually transcend self-absorption. We reach a state where the ego dissolves and we become an instrument of virtue in the world. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if thou wilt ever dig." Let us begin this journey inward, to understand how focusing on yourself ultimately leads to becoming something greater than yourself. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Epictetus. The cornerstone of Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control, the sharp distinction between what is in our power and what is not. This separation forms the foundation for all Stoic practice. What is in our power? Our judgments, our desires, our aversions, and our own actions. What is not in our power? Everything else, other people's opinions, wealth, fame, health, and all external events. The Stoics recognized that human suffering largely stems from trying to control what cannot be controlled. We desire outcomes that aren't guaranteed. We fear events that may never happen. We grasp for permanent satisfaction from impermanent things. Epictetus, who began life as a slave, advised his students to say to every harsh appearance, "You are just an appearance and not at all what you appear to be." Through this mental discipline, he found freedom despite his circumstances. When we focus on what is truly within our control, we reclaim our agency. We stop being victims of circumstance and become authors of our response to circumstance. This is the first step in focusing on yourself, recognizing where your true power lies. Practical application, the morning reflection. Begin each day with a simple reflection. Some things are within my control, and others are not. List the challenges you expect to face today, and classify them. What aspects can I control? What aspects must I accept? For example, if you have an important presentation, you control your preparation, your delivery, and your attitude, but not how others will receive it, technical difficulties that may arise, or whether you'll achieve the outcome you desire. By focusing only on what you control, you concentrate your energy where it can make a difference. This doesn't mean ignoring external circumstances, it means recognizing their true nature and your relationship to them. Part 2, Self-Examination and Moral Progress. The examined life. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates, a major influence on Stoic thought. The Stoics believed that moral progress requires rigorous self-examination. We must scrutinize our judgments, motivations, and actions with unflinching honesty. Seneca, tutor to Emperor Nero, practiced a daily evening review. When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, aware of this habit that's now mine, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. This practice involves asking, what vices have I fought against today? How am I better than yesterday? What mistakes did I make? How can I improve tomorrow? Through regular self-examination, we identify patterns of thought that cause suffering. We notice where our judgments are hasty or irrational. We see where fear or desire controls us rather than reason. This is not self-criticism for its own sake, it is practical self-improvement. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. I seek the truth, which never harmed anyone." Practical application, the evening review. End each day by reflecting on your actions. What did I do well today? Where did I fall short of my principles? What triggered emotional reactions in me? How could I have responded better? What will I do differently tomorrow? Write these reflections in a journal. The act of writing clarifies thought and creates accountability. Over time, these reflections reveal patterns and track progress in self-mastery. The 4 cardinal virtues. Virtue is the only good, all else is indifferent. Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism. The Stoics held that virtue alone is sufficient for happiness, eudaimonia. External goods, wealth, health, reputation, might be preferred, but they are ultimately indifference compared to virtue. The 4 cardinal virtues in Stoicism are wisdom, Sophia, the knowledge of what is good, bad, and indifferent. Courage, Andrea, facing challenges with fortitude and integrity. Justice, Dikaiosine, treating others with fairness and kindness. Temperance, Sophrosine, moderation and self-discipline in all things. Focusing on developing these virtues gives us an internal compass that works regardless of external circumstances. Unlike achievement goals that depend on factors beyond our control, virtue goals depend only on our choices. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote in his private journals, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." This simple focus provided clarity amid the complexities of ruling an empire. Practical application, daily virtue practice. Choose one virtue to focus on each day. Wisdom Monday, practice questioning your impressions before assenting to them. Courage Tuesday, do one thing that challenges you or makes you uncomfortable. Justice Wednesday, look for opportunities to serve others without recognition. Temperance Thursday, practice moderation in something you typically overindulge in. Then rotate back through the virtues over the weekend. By systematically practicing each virtue, you develop a balanced character. Preparing for adversity. Begin each day by telling yourself, "Today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." Marcus Aurelius. While modern self-help often emphasizes positive thinking, the Stoics practiced negative visualization, deliberately contemplating worst-case scenarios. This practice serves several purposes. It reduces anxiety about potential hardships by making them familiar. It highlights the true value of what we currently have. It prepares us to respond virtuously to difficulty. It reminds us of our mortality and the impermanence of all things. Seneca advised his friend Lucilius, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" By voluntarily practicing discomfort, we weaken its power over us. We realize that many necessities are merely preferences, and hardships we fear are actually well within our capacity to bear. Practical application, the premeditation exercise. Take 5 minutes each morning to visualize potential difficulties. Imagine losing something you value, a relationship, possession, or opportunity. Consider how you would maintain your character and find a path forward. Remind yourself that nothing external is truly yours to keep. Return to the present with gratitude for what you currently have. This practice isn't pessimism, it's preparation. When difficulties inevitably arise, you'll face them with equanimity rather than shock. Transcending the self. Survey the circling stars, as though yourself were in mid-course with them. Marcus Aurelius. While Stoicism begins with intense focus on oneself, it ultimately expands to a cosmic perspective. The Stoics practiced viewing their lives from above, imagining themselves as tiny parts of an immense cosmos unfolding across vast stretches of time. This perspective serves as an antidote to excessive self-importance. Our troubles, when viewed from cosmic heights, reveal their true scale. The insult we received, the promotion we missed, the rejection that stung, all appear as momentary ripples in an infinite ocean. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Soon you will have forgotten everything, soon everything will have forgotten you." This wasn't to induce despair, but to liberate from pettiness. When we see ourselves as integral parts of a greater whole, nature, humanity, the cosmos itself, our focus shifts. We begin acting not merely for our own benefit, but as cells in a larger body. Practical application, the cosmic viewpoint meditation. Find a quiet place to practice this perspective-expanding meditation. Close your eyes and imagine rising above your current location. See your city shrinking beneath you, then your country, continent, and planet. Observe the Earth as a pale blue dot in the vastness of space. Consider the billions of lives unfolding simultaneously. Reflect on the brevity of human existence against cosmic time. Return to your body with a renewed sense of purpose and proportion. This practice doesn't diminish your importance, it clarifies it. You matter not because you are the center of the universe, but because you are connected to everything. Embracing what is. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to, rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens, then you will be happy. Epictetus. The Stoic sage doesn't merely accept fate, they love it. Amor fati, love of fate, represents the ultimate transcendence of personal preferences. It means embracing everything that happens as necessary and perfect, including suffering and loss. This doesn't mean passive resignation. The Stoic acts vigorously to improve what can be improved but accepts with equanimity what cannot be changed. As Cleanthes, a Stoic philosopher, prayed, "Lead me, Zeus, and you too, destiny, wherever you have assigned me to go. I'll follow without hesitation." Nietzsche, deeply influenced by Stoicism, considered amor fati his formula for greatness. My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, but love it. When we love what happens, especially the difficult parts, we transform our relationship with life itself. We stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. Practical application, the obstacle is the way. When facing a challenge, practice this reframing. Identify the obstacle clearly. Ask, how is this obstacle an opportunity? Consider how this difficulty might develop your character. Identify one action you can take to transform this obstacle into an advantage. Marcus Aurelius observed, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. By applying this perspective, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone. The paradoxical path. Attend to yourself, and you will remove from your life not only grief, fear, desire, envy, malevolence, avarice, and effeminacy, but also acts of injustice and tyranny. Epictetus. Here we confront the central paradox of Stoic practice. By focusing intensely on yourself, your judgments, virtues, and actions, you eventually transcend self-absorption entirely. The path works this way. First, you focus on your judgments and distinguish what you can control. Then, you develop virtue and character through deliberate practice. Finally, you expand your perspective to see yourself as part of a greater whole. Through this progression, self-interest is gradually transmuted into genuine concern for the welfare of all. As Hierocles, a Stoic philosopher, suggested, we should see ourselves at the center of expanding circles of concern, moving outward from self to family to community to humanity to all beings. Marcus Aurelius captured this transformation. What brings no profit to the hive brings none to the bee. Your good and the common good become indistinguishable. Practical application, expanding circles of concern. Practice expanding your circle of concern. Start each day by wishing yourself well. Then extend that same goodwill to your family and friends. Next, include acquaintances and colleagues. Then, people you find difficult. Finally, all of humanity. This practice gradually dissolves the artificial boundary between self and other, revealing our fundamental interconnection. Social animals by nature. We are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows of the upper and lower teeth. Marcus Aurelius. While Stoicism emphasizes inner work, it does not advocate isolation. The Stoics recognized humans as inherently social beings with duties to their communities. Hierocles described humans as existing within concentric circles of relationship, self, family, community, humanity, with an obligation to draw the circle somehow toward the center. Our goal is to treat even strangers with the care usually reserved for family. Cicero, influenced by Stoic thought, emphasized that justice emerges from recognizing our social bonds. The first office of justice is to keep one man from doing harm to another, unless provoked by wrong, and the next is to lead men to use common possessions for the common interests. This communal focus helps us avoid the trap of self-improvement becoming merely another form of self-absorption. We develop virtue not just for our own excellence, but to better serve humanity. Practical application, the service orientation. Transform your daily activities with these questions. How does this task serve others besides myself? What contribution can I make today that benefits the common good? How can I fulfill my role, parent, teacher, citizen, etc., with excellence? By viewing your actions through the lens of service, even mundane tasks take on deeper meaning. Mastering your judgments. Make it your study then to confront every harsh impression with the words, "You are but an impression, and not at all what you seem to be." Epictetus. The discipline of assent involves mastering your judgments about events. When something happens, we automatically generate impressions about it. The Stoic practice is to pause before accepting these impressions as truth. Epictetus taught a crucial distinction. Events themselves are neutral, our judgments about them create our emotional responses. The statement, "This is terrible," contains two elements, the event itself and our evaluation of it. By separating these elements, we gain freedom. When something occurs, the Stoic asks, "What is the bare event, stripped of my interpretation? Is my judgment adding unnecessary suffering? Can I suspend judgment and remain in objective reality?" This practice doesn't mean suppressing emotions, it means ensuring our emotions arise from accurate judgments rather than hasty misinterpretations. Practical application, the pause and question technique. When you feel a strong emotional reaction, pause and take a breath. Name the emotion you're experiencing. Identify the judgment causing this emotion. Question that judgment, is this definitely true? What else might this mean? Formulate a more objective assessment. With practice, this pause becomes natural, creating space between stimulus and response, the essence of freedom. The ultimate teacher. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time. Seneca. The Stoics kept death continually in mind, not as a morbid obsession but as the ultimate clarifying force. Contemplating our mortality reveals what truly matters. When we remember that our time is finite, we naturally prioritize virtue over trivialities. We stop postponing the good life for some future date. We value the present moment, the only time we can actually exercise virtue. As Seneca noted, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. By keeping death in mind, we paradoxically learn how to truly live. Practical application, the final hour reflection. If this were your final hour, what would you most regret? What relationships would you wish you had nurtured better? What virtues would you wish you had developed more fully? How would you wish you had spent today? Then adjust your priorities accordingly. As Marcus Aurelius advised himself, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Finding invincibility within. The mind that is free from passions is a citadel, for man has nothing more secure to which he can fly for refuge and repel every attack. Marcus Aurelius. Through Stoic practice, we gradually build what Marcus Aurelius called the inner citadel, a fortress of tranquility that external events cannot breach. This inner sanctuary isn't built overnight. It's constructed stone by stone through daily practice. Each time we distinguish what we can and cannot control. Each time we respond with virtue rather than reaction. Each time we question our impressions before assenting to them. Each time we view adversity as opportunity. Eventually, this inner strength becomes unshakable. As Seneca wrote to Lucilius, if you wish to put off all worry, assume that what you fear may happen will certainly happen. When we prepare for every contingency and root our worth in virtue alone, we become truly invincible. Practical application, the inner retreat. Develop a mental sanctuary you can access anytime. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine a place of perfect security and peace. Remind yourself, within me is everything I need for peace. Return to this mental refuge whenever external events threaten your tranquility. With practice, you can access this inner citadel in seconds, even amid chaos. Living Stoicism daily. For philosophy doesn't consist in outward display, but in taking care of what is needed, which is to keep the ruling center in a state according to nature. Musonius Rufus. Stoicism is not merely an intellectual exercise. As Epictetus warned his students, if you've been taking pride in your grasp of theory, start taking pride in accomplishing practical tasks. The true test of Stoic understanding is daily life. Do we maintain equanimity when criticized? Do we choose virtue when it's costly? Do we remember what's in our control when plans fall apart? Musonius Rufus, teacher of Epictetus, emphasized that philosophy should be like medicine, judged by its ability to heal the soul, not by the elegance of its arguments. Practical application, the Stoic Minimalism Challenge. For 1 week, practice Stoic minimalism. Eat simple foods. Dress plainly. Eliminate one comfort or luxury each day. When desiring something, ask, is this necessary for virtue? Find joy in basic experiences, breathing, moving, thinking. This practice builds resilience and clarifies what is truly essential for well-being. Sit quietly and contemplate your place in the human community. Remind yourself, I am a part of the whole, a citizen of the cosmos. Consider how your actions affect the greater whole. Identify one way to align your personal good with the common good today. This meditation transforms your relationship with humanity from one of separation to one of belonging. Focus on you until the focus is you. This phrase captures the paradoxical journey of Stoic practice. By focusing intensely on ourselves, our judgments, virtue, and character, we eventually transcend self-absorption entirely. The progression moves through stages. Self-discipline, mastering judgments and impulses. Self-development, cultivating virtue and character. Self-transcendence, expanding perspective beyond personal concerns. Selflessness, acting as an instrument of reason in service to the whole. The initial focus on self is like a ladder we climb, only to kick away once we've reached the heights. As Wittgenstein, though not a Stoic, famously wrote, my propositions serve as elucidations in the following way, anyone who understands me eventually recognizes them as nonsensical, when he has used them, as steps, to climb beyond them. When we reach this final stage, we no longer need to focus on ourselves because virtue has become our nature. We act appropriately without internal struggle. The focus is no longer on us because, in a sense, we have become the focus, a clear lens through which reason and virtue operate in the world. Marcus Aurelius captured this state perfectly. Be like the promontory against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. This is the ultimate promise of Stoic practice, not a self-improved, but a self-transformed, not merely withstanding the waves of life but becoming one with the ocean itself. The daily practice. Let us end with a simple daily framework for Stoic practice. Morning preparation. Reflect on the dichotomy of control. Set intentions for virtuous action. Visualize potential challenges. Remember your mortality. Throughout the day. Question impressions before assenting. Focus on the present action. Remember your role in the human community. Find opportunities to express virtue. Evening review. Examine your actions and judgments. Acknowledge successes and failures. Identify lessons for tomorrow. Express gratitude for what you have learned. Through this daily rhythm of preparation, practice, and reflection, the Stoic path gradually unfolds. The focus on self eventually gives way to something greater, a life lived in harmony with nature, reason, and the cosmic whole. As Seneca promised, the reward for all the virtues lies in the virtues themselves. The reward of having acted is having acted.